Praia da Luz, a peaceful Portuguese resort town, is known for its golden beaches and tranquil evenings. On May 3, 2007, that peace was shattered. The McCann family was enjoying a typical holiday, parents dining nearby, children asleep in their apartment. But that night, 3-year-old Madeleine McCann vanished without a trace. The town's quiet was replaced by panic and heartbreak. A perfect evening turned into a global nightmare. The news of a missing British child in Portugal spread like wildfire. It started as a local emergency, but quickly became an international headline. News crews descended on Praia da Luz, turning quiet streets into a global stage. The image of Madeleine, a beautiful little girl with a distinctive mark in her right eye, was everywhere. The world watched, grieved, and hoped together. The case endured, a mystery that never faded. The silence from that night in Praia da Luz still echoes. A haunting question remains. Where is Madeleine? The McCann family's trip to Praia da Luz was meant to be a joyful escape. Kate and Jerry, both doctors, looked forward to a week of sunshine with their 3 children. Days were filled with laughter and play at the Ocean Club Resort, a place that felt safe and secure. But on the night of May 3rd, everything changed. Kate discovered Madeleine's bed empty, the window open. A scream shattered the calm, signaling the start of a nightmare that would haunt the world. The initial response was chaotic and desperate. Friends and staff searched the dark streets, calling Madeleine's name. The open window and missing child pointed to something sinister. News of a suspected abduction spread rapidly, transforming Praia da Luz overnight. The McCanns, shattered by grief, were thrust into a global media frenzy. Madeleine's photo became a symbol of innocence lost, her story dominating headlines and uniting the world in hope, fear, and heartbreak. When Madeleine disappeared, it triggered one of the largest missing person searches in history. Portuguese police and international agencies scoured Praia da Luz, searching every building, bush, and coastline. The world watched as posters appeared across Europe, and Madeleine's fund fueled a global campaign. Despite advanced technology and tireless effort, no trace was found. The search became a symbol of hope and heartbreak, a desperate hunt that, even with the world's attention, yielded only silence. The investigation quickly became a maze of false leads and dead ends, with thousands of tips flooding in from around the world. Every reported sighting, from Spain to Morocco, was chased down, only to end in disappointment for the McCanns. Theories multiplied: abduction, burglary, even suspicion falling on the parents themselves, fueling confusion and public speculation. Robert Murat, the first official suspect, was intensely scrutinized and ultimately cleared, a pattern that would repeat with others. In a devastating twist, Kate and Jerry McCann were named suspects, only to be cleared later. But the damage to their reputation lingered. The case became a public puzzle, with investigators lost in a labyrinth of misinformation, desperate for a breakthrough. The McCanns' private grief was magnified by relentless media attention. Every action dissected and judged. Public opinion turned harsh, with their parenting and character put on trial, overshadowing the search for Madeleine. The arguido status fueled suspicion, isolating the family and subjecting them to a torrent of abuse and conspiracy theories. Even after being cleared, the shadow of doubt persisted, amplified by online speculation. Despite this, the McCanns remained resolute, campaigning tirelessly to keep Madeleine's case alive. Their resilience in the face of public scrutiny was remarkable, their focus unwavering to find their daughter. The burden was immense, but their determination never faltered. "13 years after Madeleine's disappearance, German authorities named Christian Brueckner, a convicted sex offender, as the prime suspect. Brueckner's criminal history and presence in Praia da Luz at the time made him a chillingly plausible perpetrator. The breakthrough came from mobile phone data placing him near the scene on the night Madeleine vanished. This digital footprint transformed the investigation, finally giving it a tangible focus. The announcement reignited global interest and shifted the question from what happened to did he do it? For the first time in years, the case had a face and a name. Operation Grange, launched by the Metropolitan Police, meticulously re-examined the case, uncovering Brueckner's link through phone records. German authorities took the lead, appealing for information about Brueckner's movements and vehicles. New witnesses emerged and investigators pieced together his predatory history in the Algarve. The German connection brought fresh momentum, with parallels to other unsolved disappearances deepening the sense of urgency. Building a case without a body was daunting, but every new detail added to the puzzle. The investigation, now international, pressed forward with renewed determination. In 2023, a massive search at the Berghem do Arade reservoir, linked to Brueckner, reignited hope for a breakthrough. Police from 3 countries scoured the area, searching for any trace of Madeleine or evidence tying Brueckner to the crime. Items and soil samples were collected for forensic analysis, though no immediate answers emerged. The operation's scale showed authorities' commitment to following every credible lead. While the search didn't yield a conclusive result, it proved the case was still active. The world watched, reminded that the hunt for answers and justice for Madeleine remained alive. 16 years on, hope endured and the search pressed on. The emergence of Christian Brueckner as the prime suspect has fundamentally altered the landscape of the Madeleine McCann case. It has provided a focal point for investigators and a tangible, albeit horrifying, narrative for a mystery that has long been defined by its lack of answers. The case, which for years seemed to be fading into history, has been powerfully re-energized. Law enforcement agencies in 3 different countries are now collaborating more closely than ever, sharing intelligence and coordinating their efforts to build a case against one man. This renewed international cooperation has breathed new life into the investigation, creating a sense of forward momentum that has been absent for much of the past decade. This renewed focus has also brought with it a different kind of public attention. While the early years were marked by a frenzy of media speculation and public judgment, the current phase is more sober and focused on the legal process. The conversation has shifted from wild theories to the specifics of the evidence against Brueckner. The public is now watching a slow-moving but determined police investigation unfold, one that is grounded in data, forensics, and witness testimony. This change has, to some extent, lessened the burden of public scrutiny on the McCann family, allowing the focus to return to where it belongs, on the perpetrator and the pursuit of justice. For Kate and Jerry McCann, these new developments represent the most significant progress in many years. Yet they are trapped in the same agonizing state of limbo. They have endured years of false hopes and dead ends, and they remain cautious. In a statement, they acknowledged the new activity, saying, "It is true that we miss Madeleine dearly, and that we have never given up hope of finding her." Their public statements are always marked by a quiet strength and an unwavering focus on their daughter. They are aware that the German prosecutor's belief that Madeleine is deceased is a strong possibility, but without definitive proof, they cannot and will not give up the hope of finding her alive. The case of Madeleine McCann is now a dual narrative. On one hand, it is an active, ongoing criminal investigation, methodically building a case against a prime suspect. On the other hand, it remains the deeply personal story of a family waiting for an answer, any answer, that will end their torment. The new developments have provided a path forward for investigators, but for the McCanns, the destination remains uncertain. They are still waiting for that one crucial piece of information that will tell them what happened to their beloved daughter. The renewed focus has brought a glimmer of hope for justice, but it has not yet brought them the peace of closure. When investigators look at Christian Brueckner, they see a chillingly familiar pattern. A career criminal with a history of sexual violence, Brueckner lived a transient life in the Algarve, operating below the radar. His presence in Praia da Luz, knowledge of the area, and reported break-ins make him a highly plausible suspect. But experts warn, a strong profile is not proof. Only hard evidence can truly link him to that room on that night. The case against Christian Brueckner is almost entirely circumstantial. There's no DNA, no confession, just a tapestry of evidence. Phone data placing him in Praia da Luz, a key witness's testimony, and items found in recent searches. Prosecutors must connect these threads into an unbreakable chain. If even one link fails under scrutiny, the case could collapse, leaving the mystery unsolved. Bringing a case against Christian Brueckner is fraught with challenges. 17 years have passed since Madeleine disappeared. Memories fade, evidence degrades, and the international nature of the case complicates everything. The crime spans Portugal, Germany, and the UK, demanding rare cooperation between legal systems. Yet, investigators remain cautiously optimistic. For the McCann family, even a trial, whatever the outcome, offers hope for long-awaited answers. Even with a prime suspect, the case of Madeleine McCann remains haunted by one question. Why? Was it a premeditated abduction or a crime of opportunity gone horribly wrong? The silence and speed of the crime suggest either chilling precision or extraordinary luck. Did the perpetrator act alone, or was there an accomplice? The most painful question remains: where is Madeleine? Until a definitive answer is found, the McCanns remain in limbo, forever haunted by the unknown. The disappearance of Madeleine McCann is more than an unsolved crime. It's a wound in the collective psyche, a story that haunts us with its unanswered questions and enduring sense of injustice. Her case gripped the world, not just for its tragedy, but for the way it exposed our deepest fears and the limits of justice. The relentless media spotlight kept hope alive, but also brought pain and speculation. For the McCanns, hope endures, despite the agonizing cost. The world still waits, still hopes for answers. "17 years is a lifetime." For Kate and Jerry McCann, it's been 17 years of suspended time, lived under the shadow of a single spring evening in Portugal. Now, new developments around Christian Brueckner offer a fragile beam of hope, yet also the risk of painful answers. The investigation, re-energized by a credible suspect, brings both hope for justice and the agony of uncertainty. The long shadow of May 3rd has shortened, but it has not disappeared. The story of Madeleine McCann has transcended the boundaries of a typical missing person case. It has become a permanent fixture in our collective memory, a haunting reminder of the vulnerability that lies at the heart of family life. The case forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about the world, that safety is an illusion, that evil can intrude upon the most idyllic of settings, and that sometimes there are no easy answers. The global fascination is not just about a single crime. It is about the universal fears and hopes that the crime represents. It is a story that has held a mirror up to society, reflecting our anxieties, our compassion, and at times, our capacity for judgment and cruelty. As the investigation into Christian Brueckner proceeds, the world watches with a renewed sense of anticipation. Every small development is scrutinized, every official statement analyzed for hints of progress. The case has become a slow-burning legal drama, played out across international borders. The public's desire for a resolution is palpable. We crave an ending to this story, a finality that will solve the puzzle and bring a measure of peace to a family that has known none for 17 years. This desire is a powerful force, one that has kept Madeleine's name in the headlines and has ensured that the pressure to find answers never completely fades away, even after all this time. The need for continued awareness remains as crucial as ever. The McCanns themselves have always stressed this, their annual appeals serving as a poignant reminder that their daughter is still missing. They have said, "We will never give up hope of finding Madeleine alive, but whatever the outcome, we need to know as we need to find peace." Their words encapsulate the agonizing duality of their situation. Their strength in the face of such relentless uncertainty is a powerful lesson in human resilience. They have endured the unimaginable, their love for their daughter the one constant in a world of shifting theories, failed leads, and the slow, grinding wheels of justice. And so, we are left with the same question that shattered the quiet of a Portuguese resort town all those years ago. It is a question that hangs over every new development, every police search, and every court proceeding. It is the question that has been asked in countless languages and has echoed across continents. A simple, heartbreaking query that remains the central, defining mystery of this entire tragedy. As investigators pursue their most promising lead yet, and as a family continues to wait in a state of agonizing limbo, the world waits with them for an answer to the question that still endures. Where is Madeleine?